Hey YouTube, what's going on today? So, I've had a couple people, well, I'd say more than a couple people, ask me what my setup is on the current PC that I'm running to game, to stream, to work on. So, I thought today might be a good video to kind of go over some settings, give you a basic rundown of what the PC is, all of that stuff. So it's going to be kind of an introductory, kind of a technical video. So I don't have anything prepared. I don't have anything scripted, nothing like that. So it's going to be off the cuff and just as it comes to me, certain things. So today I'm going to go over what the PC specs are. Obviously, it's an Origin PC that I purchased last spring, but I'll kind of go over what the build of it is, the particulars of what it is, and then I'm going to go over some of the settings that I have set up to help me broadcast across to my YouTube channel in highest quality that I think I can probably get. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, just sit back, grab a pop or whatever, because it's going to be kind of a long video. And try not to make it too technical, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, here we go. So this is an Origin PC. I cannot believe, or I can't remember exactly which model this one is. Let's see if I can bring this up, and I'll pop it over onto the other screen real quick. Let me find it. Well, let's look here. All right, the Origin PC that I purchased, and this, I don't, you can jump on their site. I don't know if they've got this particular model anymore or anything like that, but the one that I got was the Origin Genesis. Case is a Corsair 680X. Came with IQ Rgb Lighting. Processor is a Ryzen 9 5950X 16 core, 3.4 gigahertz. Motherboard's an ASRock X570 Extreme 4. Memory is a 32 gig Corsair Dominator Platinum, 3200 megahertz. Sorry. System cooling is Corsair H100i Pro XT RGB. And got Corsair system fans. Graphics card is it's an NVIDIA RTX 3070. Windows Home Edition, Windows 10 Home. Not necessarily what I would put on there on any occasion, but I typically go with the Pro. But this one came with the Home, and I don't have any need for any particular domain joining requirements here at the house, so I don't utilize the Pro version. So power supply is a Corsair RM850. Drive is a 2 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro NVMe 2. Let's see here. Everything else is pretty much stuff that you could either install yourself or have Origin do it for you. I had them install Battle.net just because, why not? It's free. So All of that. Cost for that was $4,110.31. I mean, you can jump on their site and see what the price is, but that's what I paid for it. I don't mind, telling you exactly what I paid, because some people will want to know what it costs, but that's what the going rate is right now for PC components, construction, video cards. That's the major component. It was like $1,500 for the 3070. I'm not sure what it is now. I think it's a little bit, but anyway, so that's kind of a down of what the actual PC is. So currently I run three 31.5-inch MSI curved monitor. One of them is a 1080p version. I think that one's the AG30C. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on that just yet. Find that. All right. So I'm going to do this over here real quick, and then I will let you kind of see this. So the one I have for my streaming computer, it's the Optics. I don't even think they make it anymore. It's the 1080p version. It's not the 34-inch. Believe. Let's just jump on here and see. Because last time I looked, I don't think. Yeah, there it is. The AG32C. So the reason why it's so much higher is they don't make it anymore, and it's an incredibly good monitor. I think this one comes from. If I remember right, I think it's not from the States anymore. But it's 1 millisecond 1080p monitor. I don't necessarily think it's as good as the monitors I use for gaming, because they're not 1080p. I'm gonna jump over here. And I didn't order these from any weird store or anything like that. It's just from Amazon mostly. Let's see. 2021. I'll find it real quick. Okay, so this is the monitor that I run for my first and second screens. And I got these on Amazon. You can see exactly when I purchased them. But they're nothing really special. I love the crap out of them because they're awesome monitors. But I run two of those for my the Origin PC, and the streaming PC is using the 1080p curved monitor. It says 32-inch, but they're actually 31.5. So 31.5 viewable. So that takes care of the monitor section. The audio that I'm running are the Klipsch. I'm running the go. It's the 2.1. So I run these here, the ProMedia 2.1 THX certified computer speakers. You can buy these things if you search really hard for like $75. I run these here. In fact, I even saw them at Walmart the other day. But it says $129 here. But if you search really hard, I picked mine up on eBay for $75. I have not heard a set of computer speakers that sounded as good as these. I had a Logitech 5.1 system before, and these Klipsch blow the Logitechs out of the water, which, I mean, they're Klipsch. I mean, you know, you get what you pay for. But here's the thing. These cost less than what I paid for the Logitech. So anyway, those are the speakers that I run. Keyboard and mouse. I'll kind of go over everything. I run, there's the speakers. For keyboard, I run the Corsair K95, I believe. Let's jump over there. I'll show you what that one is. All right, gaming gear. We're going to go keyboards, RG Mechanical. And I run the K95. The Rgb K95 Platinum Mechanical. That's the one I run. Little funny story. It's not really that funny, but it is now. And I'm going to give a word of advice. I'm on my second K95. I have to admit that. The first K95 was ruined because the desk that I built now is not the one I had before, of course. The one I had before had a cable or a keyboard drawer that would slide out, and that's where I had the keyboard. Well, I drink a big cup of ice water or pop or whatever. And my dogs like that. They're labs. They like sweet stuff. I made the mistake of, let me step back a little bit. My labs love anything sweet. They love coffee. They love pop. They've got a sweet tooth. I mean, labs typically do. But that particular day, I had a mental moment where I completely forgot that I had a full cup of pop on my desk with ice. Dogs, my chocolate lab, Ranger loves ice, but he also loves pop with ice, if you can imagine. So I had a mental moment, forgot that I left the door open to the office, and he went storming in there. Oh, gotta love my phone. Anyway, he stormed in the office, jumped up on the desk, and tipped over my cup of pop. And it literally spilled directly onto my keyboard. I was dumping pop out of my keyboard. I thought, I'll let it dry. It'll be okay. Nah. Wasn't. Immediately ruined the control board on the Rgb Lighting. They were freaking out. Some keys were very, very sticky. It was just awful. So I ended up dumping another $200 on another keyboard. So I'm on number 2 of the K95. So it also ruined my good Texas Instruments scientific calculator. I mean, it was just a bad deal. But anyway, so that's the mechanical keyboard that I use. I use a lot of Corsair products because Origin. They're a Corsair company. When I was kind of building this setup out, that's kind of what I ran with. all the RGB lighting is either Monster, which is my underdesk lighting, or my controllable lighting is the Elgato lighting strips. So, but I also run the lighting towers from Corsair. I run 4 of those for accent lighting, but I also run the Elgato light strips so I can control it with a Stream Deck. Here's another, let's see here. For mouse pad, I run the Rgb Mouse Pad. I run this one here. I believe it is, yes, the gaming mouse pad. It's not the cloth one. It's an incredibly smooth, fast surface. So this is the one that I use for the mouse pad. And mind you, all the lighting is controlled through iCUE. I run an additional program, and I'll show you that one too. It is Rgb. What's this one here? Signal RGB. It does some different things than iCUE does. So I like it in the fact that it offers some different things than iCUE does. But iCUE allows me to program my keyboard, so I typically run iCUE all the time just because I've got keyboard mappings and mouse mappings to allow me to run around Warzone in a pretty efficient manner and minimize keystrokes, because a lot of the actions that would be done on the keyboard I can assign to the mouse, and weapon swaps and picking up items and things like that I can do through iCUE, because you can assign keyboard functions to mouse buttons that way. So the thing I do like about iCUE is that you can assign different let me see if I can bring up iCUE real quick. Where are you at? There you are. Bring iCUE to foreground. There we go. So, like here, I can go for my keyboard, especially mouse. I can do key assignments. So here I've got a keystroke assigned to this button right here. So, and that is keypad number 1, because in the game, number 1 does several different things. It's the keypad, the number pad. This button right here, that's actually assigned to that one mouse button they indicated. This button right here, the red one. So, key assignments, I've got assigned the button press number 1 there, and then the other 2 buttons, these 2 are actually assignable in the game. This button is not. You cannot map keyboard buttons to your mouse in the game, so you have to use an external program to get the key bindings kind of the way they want them. But I use iCUE for that. Lighting effects are pretty much done. I've imported things off of the iCUE store. Like Brimstone is one I use by default. That's the one that, it pretty much controls all the lighting towers, the keyboard lighting, the lighting internally on the PC. Let's see if I can. Well, you can kind of see what it's doing there, and then that's kind of what the keyboard's actually doing right now. If I was to show you a picture of what the keyboard's doing, it's actually doing this lighting scheme, the animation. So same thing with the mouse pad. That's what it's doing. The mouse itself is doing that as well. So it's cool. The lighting effects, if you can get them figured out and utilize that in your rig, adding ambient lighting to your office space is one of the best ways of changing the overall mood of that space. So lighting effects, it's a great way of just changing the overall feel of the environment that you work or game in. So it's a great thing. So I use IQ for that. As far as lighting goes, I don't know. Let's see here. We're gonna do something different here. I'm gonna go ahead and close that, and then what we're gonna do, we're going to utilize Teamviewer. So that will allow you to kind of go over. Yes, we're connected. So anyway, I'm going to minimize this. Okay, there we go. Minimize this, and we're going to do this. We're going to minimize this, and then that will give you kind of a view of the streaming PC itself. There's a lot of things that are very, very similar in the streaming PC as there are on the gaming side too. So of course I use IQ for lighting. Let's see if we can bring that up. Maybe. There we go. Takes a minute. The gaming PC, looks like we've got an update. We'll go ahead and update that while we're waiting. So the gaming PC is based off of an i7 4-core processor. Bring up the specs on it. And we'll go here. Come on. There we go. Do it this way. This is really what I want. Okay, so we are running an i7 quad core running at 3.68 gigahertz. Yeah, it's 100% right now because it's installing something. But it's an i7 6700 CPU. It's running an MSI motherboard. The lighting, it's liquid cooled like the other one, like the Origin. I just bought all of it on Amazon for that. So I utilize, let's see here, it's just installing the update. A couple things I do utilize on both the gaming PC and the streaming PC. I utilize the Elgato, and this is the Stream Deck, and this is how I've got it kind of configured. So I've got it configured to operate the stream itself. To power up the streaming software. Let's go ahead and initiate this. Say yes. And I've got it to start streaming. I've got it all my different scenes that I've got set up here. I've also got it set up to fire up Spotify. I can play, pause, increase volume, decrease volume, and so on and so forth. But I can also within Spotify, you can change what device it's actually being played on. So I can switch between my streaming PC and my, gaming PC on that. So, and then I've got different playlists that I can start up. If I'm waiting for somebody to join in that I play with, I can have this going in the background while I'm waiting on them. Second page of this is for lighting. Lighting, I can change colors, turn them off, and set intensity levels on the lighting. Right now I've got it set to 100% just because it works really good. See, I can, you really can't see what I didn't think it was going to give me any indication here, but you can actually press these buttons here, and their actions are like little macros. If you go into here, it tells you exactly how to set these. You can set them up into the brightness, like right there, and it tells you exactly auto strip light that you're actually opting with each one. If I had more Elgato strips, 2 right now, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be running any more. I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I think that's plenty for me. But anyway, you can set up multiple actions with your Elgato, which is really kind of cool. But the Elgato Stream Deck is not just for gaming. I mean, you can use it for a number of different things. You can use it for, programs that you utilize, Adobe programs. It kind of helps streamline your workflow a little bit. So I utilize that. I control all of the lighting and all of that off of the streaming PC because that's where the Elgato software is installed, and that's what I utilize for controlling the stream itself. I only have one Stream Deck, and I don't want to have to buy another one. So, and I can easily go from page to page. I can go to that. I'm controlling that with the actual Elgato itself. So, makes sense just to set up multiple pages for that. But anyway, so that's it in itself. The Elgato. I'm not going to go into details of how to set that up because it's pretty self-explanatory. Looks like we're still installing some stuff. Close that, and pretty much that's not necessarily true. I've got a little bit more. I'm going to jump back over to the gaming PC real quick. I'm going to leave this up so we can refer back to it. So hold on one second while I switch back over. Oh, the one thing that I did not talk about is the other application I run is this mouse without borders. It's an actual Microsoft program, but it's a TCP/IP, basically a TCP/IP KVM, if you will. So I can go from just basically going from moving my mouse from one screen to the next. Here I found that if you have it, you go from one window to the next window over to your other PC, it'll actually take your mouse inputs and just allow you to move across, without doing anything. But I found that if you game, sometimes you encounter the edge of borders quite a bit, and it can tend to mess up your game when you're going along. Some games don't really care about it. Warzone doesn't really care about it, but Battlefield 21 or 2042 cares about it. So I've got it set up to where it will. Other options here. So you can utilize the control key to the easy mouse, and we're at It's the control. If you just hold the control key down, I think it was. It's one of these buttons here. You can just use the control key to move, allow it to move from one machine to the next. So if I hold the control key down, it automatically moves it into my other PC, and then I can, control keyboards or mouse inputs by just simply holding the mouse key down and then moving it over to the screen that I want, which is pretty slick. So, let's look here. Where is it at? It's not that one. Huh. Wrap mouse. So the wrap mouse, what it does is, it doesn't matter if I was to move it over here, it would automatically go to the other side. But anyway, so I use that for controlling the streaming PC with one keyboard and mouse, being utilized instead of multiple. So it really kind of helps. So you can close that, and it automatically goes back to your taskbar. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over, and then we'll talk about some other things here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this yet. I'll click the desktop, yeah. So the last thing that I utilize, and I utilize Xbox chat and Discord for voice communication methods, but if anybody has tried to mix multiple sources or multiple platforms of voice chat to get everything to kind of work, it's kind of a pain in the ass without some sort of software to do it. So for voice, I utilize the Rodecaster Pro, and then I've got a Rode mic and boom arm that I use. It's XLR based, so I run my Rode mic into the Rodecaster, and then I utilize it to mix all of the sources that I have coming in or being utilized on the PC, whether it's the game or different audio sources. I use that to mix and send to different places. So if you're a streamer, you kind of understand what I'm talking about, but most people probably don't. But there's a few different things that were options to me whenever I decided to up my streaming game a little bit. But there's a couple different avenues that you can go down. You can go down the TC Helicon. I'm not sure what that thing is called. Hold on. Let's see here. It's the Go XLR. You can go down that road, and it's got some things, and a lot of streamers utilize that. But for me, I did a lot of review watching on which ones actually worked and had the best sound quality. There's pros and cons to both the Rodecaster Pro and the Go XLR. For me, the Rodecaster Pro had multiple inputs on it. It had Bluetooth capability. It had all kinds of different things, and the reviews that I read and watched just sang praises pretty highly. So I opted to go with it. And the downside to that is the Rodecaster Pro is a it's a podcasting setup. It's portable, so you can actually plug a micro SD card into it, take it with you, set it up, do your podcast, and have all that audio recorded directly to the Rodecaster Pro. For me, it's not going anywhere. I'm not going to take it on the road. I'm not going to, make it portable or anything like that. I'm just not going to. I mean, it's not what I purchased it for. For me, it's a method of communication management. So I utilize it strictly to manage the audio sources, the audio inputs that are being utilized at any particular time on my PC. So with that being said, I used the Rodecaster Pro strictly for mic inputs and controlling the software that I use to actually do the mixing of all of those audio sources and the routing of the audio tracks themselves. So I utilize Voicemeeter Potato. Voicemeeter Potato let me step back a little bit. Voicemeeter is the original software that I explored when I was using the Rodecaster Pro in the beginning, but I needed a way to essentially take the microphone input and mix it with voice chat, mix it with the game inputs, and then take that and output that to different resources, either on a different PC or my headphones or my speakers or anything like that. So I've spent quite a bit of time kind of getting this software set up to where it actually routes audio in a pretty efficient and clean manner. So with saying that, I'm going to this is going to get a little out there, so bear with me on this. I'm going to bring up some settings here so you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't have to fumble too much in finding it. So I'm going to bring this here. We're going to look at this. So this is Voicemeeter Potato. Voicemeeter Potato is a software that, like I said before, mixes different hardware inputs or software inputs and allows you to output them to different things. So, and I don't have a full 100% grasp of how all this works yet. I mean, it's still, it can be confusing. It's a very, very intense program, and it does a lot of things, and it's really kind of helped me out in making the stream that I want and allow me to get things to work that I need in order to make this stream as best as I possibly can. Now, granted, I don't have a camera yet. That's on the front. But that being said, you kind of have to get your audio worked out before anything else. In my mind, I come from, my background is computers. I mean, that's what I do for a living. That's what I went to school for. All of that stuff. But I've been around live sound production for a long damn time. I mean, a long time. And so I understand sound. I understand how things kind of work in that regard. Didn't go to school for that or nothing like that, but I understand it. So Voicemeeter Potato has a couple different requirements. So when you download the software, you get it installed, it installs what they call virtual cables. You have to get those installed in order for things to kind of work. So there's a free one that you download, and it's just called Voicemeeter. Voicemeeter just basically has two 2 channels here, and then a series of outputs. And I think it might have a virtual. I don't know. I haven't used it in a long time, but Voicemeeter Basic is the free version of it. But if you really want to expand your production capability, I would highly suggest going with Voicemeeter Potato, because it's got a lot of options to it, which I'll kind of show you here. So I've got a microphone input. Now, mind you, these microphone inputs are based off of pieces of hardware that are plugged into your PC. As you can see, my microphone input, and it gives you all these selections to choose from. But being that my microphone is actually plugged into my Rodecaster Pro, Rodecaster Pro itself is plugged into the USB-C, or a USB input from it into the PC itself, so it sees it as a microphone. PC does. So I choose that as one of the controllable inputs from the Rodecaster into Voicemeeter Potato. So the rest of these are different software packages that I have installed that produce sound that you can come in and then monitor and then send out to different different hardware sources or different outputs. It's not necessarily a source at that point. It's an output. So like voice chat, I can send out to these buttons here are your A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5 are different outputs that you can send audio to. And then you have virtual outputs, which can be then redirected and utilized internally on the PC. They're just what they call a virtual output. So the Voicemeeter then allows you to take the output of a channel and then send it to, say, an input of Voicemeeter. So the microphone itself here, well, let's jump over to the output section here. A1 is the Elgato 4K 60 Pro, which that's another piece of hardware I didn't tell you that I had on it's the capture card inside of the streaming PC. It's the one that I use to capture the video, the 4K video, and the audio from the gaming PC over. I use strictly HDMI to capture video and audio. It's all digital. It just makes more sense to do it that way. A lot of people use analog cabling and stuff like that, and I found that it just has too much noise, and I want my signal as pristine as possible, which that's the way you do it. So HDMI with audio seems to work really well. So I've got that sent to output A1. Output A2, that's my speaker output on the computer. Or actually, that's the speaker output on the Rodecaster. So with the Rodecaster, I've got my headphones plugged into it. So when I go to monitor myself or listen to game playback or just the audio itself coming from the PC, I can put my headphones on and listen to exactly a real-time feed of what's going on. So that's output A2. Now, if I wanted to turn that off, all I would have to do was uncheck this little button here, and it tells Voicemeeter to either send that source to my headphones or not. Now, if I was to turn A2 on the microphone, I'd hear double of everything. So you don't want to do that, because I'm monitoring my voice on the Rodecaster Pro. You don't want that sent, because then it sends a signal back to the Rodecaster and you hear two of yourself. You don't want that. Output 3, that's the speakers on the PC. That goes to Sound Blaster. So if I want that those sources, you can see those sources are sent to all 3 of those active outputs. If it's red, it's not active. If it's kind of the gray, it is active. So I've got my voice going to A1, which is being sent over the HDMI to the capture PC or the streaming PC, which is what I'm capturing on right now. I've also got it sent to A4, which is A4 would have been the wireless Corsair Virtuoso, can't read, Virtuoso headset. Those are my wireless headphones. I tried to use the wireless, and I just couldn't get it to work, so I opted to not do it. But anyway, there is a little bit of delay between the real time and then what you get played back. So I opted to not do that. B1 is the V-band. So V-band, I'll explain what V-band does. What V-band does is it creates a channel across a gigabit network, my network, as a streaming source from my PC, the streaming PC, to let me step back. It creates a streaming channel, an audio channel from the gaming PC, which is the outgoing stream, to the streaming PC. So what it does is it just creates an audio channel, and then you can use that audio source instead of having your feed coming over HDMI being interfered with. You can actually utilize this and have it do other things. So what I have it do is my streaming PC, the lighting is set up through that the signal RGB to one of the lighting patterns setup is triggered by audio. So anytime I have music playing or we're playing a game or something like that, it'll actually trigger the lighting setup for it. So that's what I use the V-band for. It's the audio strictly for lighting, if you will. But the other cool thing too, let's go back to V-band, is I can bring up on the streaming PC, especially if I'm streaming something that needs to be captured by OBS, I can utilize Chrome or an internet browser to send audio back to the PC, the gaming PC to listen on. So that way I can hear playback of what's being played on the streaming PC in my headset. You know, if I'm talking about something and need to capture it. So it just gives you a whole slew of different options for capturing media or different things. So I've got an incoming stream coming from the streaming PC back into here, so you can hear what's being played back. And I've also got an outgoing stream over to the streaming PC fighting. So that's what V-band is for. Voice chat, I've got different setups for each different software type. So with Voicemeeter Potato, they also give you the option of buying additional virtual cables. So you have different inputs that you can assign audio sources to be utilized within Voicemeeter. So for me, I've only got 2 virtual cables, 3 actually. There's 3. I've got 2 additional ones. So I've got the cable output here, and then I've got the VB audio cable A, VB audio cable B, and then you've got some virtual cables over here that you can utilize too. For different sources. As you can see, Chrome comes in on this virtual channel, as well as Discord. I don't know why Discord does this. It utilizes all these virtual ones up, but it's actually set up to run over the voice chat. And what I want to do is kind of show you how that's set up to where the audio gets played back over this channel for like the game audio, but the actual voice chat is completely controllable via a separate channel over here, and it doesn't affect your game audio at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up, let's see, how do I want to do this? What I might do is minimize. Oops. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll put the game in a window. That way you can see exactly what's going on. It'll probably be easier. Okay, we're going to fire zone because that's the easiest game I know to kind of get things shown to you. All right, so actually I didn't even need to get into the game or nothing like that. Graphics, we're going to do windowed for now, apply settings, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this here. And hopefully you can see what I'm going to be talking about. So as you can see, the audio, any of the audio noises are being played over the games channel. However, and there's nothing being played over the voice chat. The way that you do that is you come over to your audio tab, and then you scroll down to where, see here, the speakers, headphones, and games devices. You can see it's cable A input, VB audio cable A, VB audio cable A. So that's where the actual game noises itself, the explosions, the gunfire, different non-actual human voice chat audio signals get sent. So that's where it gets output to. So here, we've got a couple different things here. So like the speakers and headphones get put on a VB audio virtual cable, which is voice chat here. See this one? VB audio virtual cable. So that's where the headphone or your actual voice chat gets output to. So it's completely separate. It gives you a little bit more control over controlling those volume levels. And the microphone device is, of course, the Rodecaster Pro, which is there. So that's pretty easy, right? Okay. So both voice chat and your game's audio are on two completely separate channels. So now I'm going to go ahead and shift this back to, and honestly, that's the only thing that you would have to do to get to where it would output your voice chat and your game audio. Now, the next thing you'd have to do is you make sure that you send that over to the outputs that you want those audio sources to actually be sent to. So A1, A2, and A3 are all, the valid sources that I would need that sent to. Now, the reason why you can't hear the speakers is because I've actually got them turned down. There's a physical volume knob that I have to turn down every time, or I just unmute or mute those things. And that's something I'll talk about as well here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this and put that back over to graphics, full screen, borderless, apply, back to desktop. So that's how you get your game itself set up. So, I was talking about the virtual cables that you'd have to install. So the playback, these are the virtual cables here. Cable A, so the cable input is the one that is installed from Voicemeeter. I think you have to download that one, but the cable A and cable B are the ones that you can purchase. You buy them in 2 packs, but you have to download this one to get it to work. Another thing too is if you run into crackling noises, make sure all your audio settings are set to the exact same frequency, and by that I mean this here. So let's see, is this one? Go to properties, advanced. See how it's set to 16-bit 48,000 hertz? Make sure that everything is set that way. Everything, all your audio sources are set exactly. If you don't, you're going to have crackling noises. This is something that I encountered and found the solution for a few months ago, and once I figured that one out, I don't have any crackling noises. It's very, very annoying. Like here, properties, advanced. This one's set to 24-bit. I could actually set that to 24-bit studio quality and apply it. So, okay, make sure the stream didn't get jacked up real quick. Nope, everything's working. Okay, so you set all of your audio playback devices to the same hertz, and it'll fix that problem. But you again, you have to make sure that they're all set the same, and you need to install this one by default minimum. And if you want more audio cables, more sources, purchase the 2-pack. They're like $5 or something like that. I mean, the software's not expensive either. I think it's like $20 or $30. And for something that does this, I'll gladly support somebody for that. So I mean, they put in a ton of freaking work for it. So, we talked about the audio sources coming in. Now, here's another thing too. Let's bring up Discord. I'm going to bring up Discord, and we're going to put this over here, put this there. So this, of course, got to get my kid to help me out with this one, but he kind of got me on the Discord bandwagon a little bit. Yeah, and if you guys are wanting to jump on Discord to see what we're doing, Discord is just Spider Gaming. Let's see here. Spider Gaming 73, I believe. I think that's what it is. Find us on Discord and jump on there and see what's up. But anyway, we typically stream, from about 7 o'clock at night on most days of the week. If we're on, we're on. If not, we'll probably be on the next day. But so Discord is a little bit different. So in order to access your audio settings, you go down to the gear, click on it. No, it's just Spider Gaming. Okay. Yes. There we go. No 73. All right. So then you come up to voice and audio, and what you do is your input device needs to be the output VB audio virtual cable. Let's see here. The only thing I don't like about it is this here. It's the VB audio voice or which one is it? Yeah, Voicemeeter VB Audio. I'm not really sure which one that one is here. I'm wondering if it's one of the channels via Voicemeeter. Voice chat, maybe. VB Audio voice chat. But you need to have an output as your input device here. So, like if I want to check this, test, 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 test. You can see that the voice chat was here. So your output device, in order for people to be able to hear you, your cable input, it's going to be VB Audio virtual cable. So it's going to be the VB Audio virtual cable. And if you do that, it should show up on your voice chat channel here. Let's test that again. Test, test, test. Hello, hello. As you can tell, I mean, there's some audio distortion in there, and from what I've read, it's a bug in Discord. So I think Task Manager, the way that they said to figure that out, under details, I think it's the ALDG. Audio DG. So to set priority, you go to high, change priority, set affinity. You want it just set to one processor. I don't know why it does that and doesn't save it. Properties. So hello. Now there's no audio distortion. So that's what you do. You have to set the priority and you have to set the affinity. If you do that, you're okay. So Discord is the exact same way. Now, Xbox Audio is another one too. So I utilize both. I utilize Xbox and I utilize Discord. So you have to modify the settings in both. So you go to Settings, go to Audio, and here we go. So that they have to be set the same. So the Voicemeeter output, it's the VB Audio Voicemeeter VIO. So the VIO would be this one here, the Voicemeeter VIO. And the input would be the Voicemeeter chat here. So you have the input is going to be from your system, which is the VIO, the output. The other, and the output of the program gets sent to the virtual cable here. So the input gets sent from Voicemeeter, the VIO channel, and the output of Xbox gets sent to the voice chat input. And that is how you hear both, and I think that's how both Xbox and Discord hear one another. I haven't yet to do that, so I guess we'll see. Other than that, let's see here. Oh, yes. The last thing I'd like to talk about. You can actually record yourself. One of a couple of different things. You can actually record yourself to hear some playback. So if you're wondering what one output sounds like, you do have equalization channels here, and this IntelliPan actually affects what you sound like to the audience. So it actually does affect your equalization, effects, all that. That's what the IntelliPan does. But you can also record that and see what it actually sounds like to that from that actual output. It'll record it. Then you can play back. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the MIDI mapping. And the MIDI mapping allows me to use the Rodecaster, because the Rodecaster Pro, if you look it up on the net, it has individual hardware sliders. It's got 8 total. So right now, got 7 of those sliders actually controlling some things. So the gain one is actually controlled. I'm moving the slider up and down here. You can actually, the MIDI will, if you tie it to your raster, you can see what the device is. You can tie those MIDI devices to Voicemeeter and use Voicemeeter in conjunction with your Rodecaster, or maybe even the TC Helicon Go XLR to control Voicemeeter. So you can actually adjust the gains or even the mutes. So you can press the mute on the and mute the devices. So same thing, this one and 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 that. So that's where the MIDI mapping is controlled from. Now you need to consult the owner's manual to kind of show you exactly how to do it. Basically you just learn, and I press this one, and then you would move what slider you want that mapping assigned to, and it will learn it here. Same thing with the mute strips. You go on to different pages, and if you've got a pretty significant MIDI package, you control just about everything. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Me, I've just got it set up for simple games and mutes. But anyway, so I think that will kind of wrap it up for this kind of explanation of how my setup is set up. You can go on the web and look up all the prices of everything. If I didn't mention them, just because they're out there. I either bought them off of eBay, Amazon, or manufacturer's website. Like all the Elgato stuff, I purchased off Elgato's website, so I paid pretty much full retail for it. So, and their stuff is not really that cheap, but it's not super expensive either. The Rodecaster Pro I bought refurbished off of eBay. I'm on number 2 for it. The first one didn't turn out very well, and they went through and exchanged it for me. It's fine. The second one came in, it worked perfectly. Case for the streaming PC and the pins and all that stuff. Actually, the motherboard, CPU, RAM, and video card I already had. I pulled all that stuff out of even a power supply. I even pulled all that stuff out of old Silverstone Raven 1 case, that bunkin' beast, and put it in a small condensed case, and that's what I'm running in the streaming now, and it works fantastic. So, that being said, I think we're going to call it good for here. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you like this video, find it helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. Let's see. Oh, if you need more info on I didn't really go over that well, or you've got questions on, just shoot me a personal message on YouTube or even on Instagram or anything like that, and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. Anyway, if you got anything else, any other questions, stick it in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. All right, everybody, have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you later.